everyone, so today I wanted to do a video about ways to improve your life. So I wanted to just get very real, raw, and honest with you guys and just talk about some things that I've been doing lately that have been making me really happy. And by sharing these tips, I hope that maybe I can help you improve some aspect of your life. I think it's very common for people to kind of get in this situation of just being unhappy with certain aspects and maybe not hearing, someone else talk about it is kind of the problem. I think that it's very refreshing to actually hear people, admit that they're having a hard time in life or admit that they're going through something. I think we're so flooded on social media and just in our everyday lives of people constantly competing, trying to show off the best version of themselves, trying to show off the best picture perfect image of their own life and what their situation happens to be. And just the real honest raw case is that everyone has issues in life and just not enough people vocalize it, and I think that can be a very isolating thing to think maybe you're the only one feeling this way or that you're the only one going through these issues when I think it's a very universal idea. So I'm going to go ahead and kind of go down the line and talk about some things that have been helping me lately and some things that really have been making a big improvement in my life. So a lot of you guys have been commenting to me that I've seemed happier, I look happier, healthier, and so I kind of want to just touch a little bit on that. So first of all, I think has to do with my physical self. So I have been losing weight, and that was something that it wasn't a huge specific thing I was doing, but I just really became a little bit more conscious about working out and what I was eating, and I just noticed such a difference in the way I was feeling, which really then kind of did a snowball effect to I then was liking the way I was looking, and then when I liked the way that I was looking, I was motivated to continue to work out, to continue to eat healthy, all that kind of stuff, and it just kind of went on from there. I've been someone that always has struggled with, being kind of curvy, and, definitely through my younger years going through a phase of not liking that, not being super sick thin. My two younger sisters are naturally very, very thin, so I was always, had bigger boobs, a bigger butt, that kind of thing. And for a while, it was something that definitely really bothered me. As I kind of got older and stuff, and I don't know, I felt like, guys liked the curviness and whatever, I just started to get a bit more comfortable with it. But I always would have kind of a weird idea around weight and losing weight and that kind of stuff. And I used to get very fixated on numbers and like how much weight I was losing and if it was enough and all that kind of stuff. Recently what I've been doing is actually using clothing as markers. And I know a lot of people do this, but I've seen such a huge change in the way that I view weight loss and kind of like the excitement of weight loss as well by using clothing. So what I'll do is I'll have like a pair of shorts or something, and I'll put them somewhere where I see them every day, and then by the end of that week or by the end of the month I'll try them on again, and then at that point they fit better, they look good, maybe they didn't button at one point, whatever, and then they do, and that's super exciting and motivating, and it is showing that your body is changing, it's showing that you're making improvements, but you're not fixated on a number. I think especially when you are gaining muscle and stuff, if you happen to maybe not be losing weight, that doesn't mean that you're not actually becoming healthier and your body is not improving as well. So if you guys are not someone that actually uses clothing as a tool to kind of measure weight loss, I would definitely recommend using that because it's really positive. It's really positive reinforcement, and it doesn't feel, as daunting as numbers, I think. And I think for me, having something that was positive and exciting really has helped me a lot. And, on the whole idea of self-care and all that kind of stuff, I think that the number one thing for you to be happy is to feel good about yourself. And so whatever that means, I think that you need to do whatever you need to do to make that possible. So if you are not happy with your weight, work on it. Try to eat healthier. Try to work out. If you don't like the way that your hair looks, go get it done. Try a new hairstyle. Do whatever you have to do to make yourself happy, because honestly, the biggest investment that you will ever make in life is on yourself. I never think you will ever regret spending time working on yourself, putting in time and effort to your appearance. Of course, I don't think appearances are the only thing that matter in life. You can be the most beautiful person in life and not be happy. That doesn't mean anything. But I do think that when you do, feel good about yourself, you're more motivated to do more things, you're more motivated to go out and meet new people, to try new experiences, and to just overall live your life to a fuller potential. So the number one thing I think is just really focus on yourself. Take some time to figure out what it is that you can improve and take some time to really work on those things. I did also want to talk a little bit about just the importance of deciding what is important to you in life. I think so many people are influenced by their friends or by social media media or even by their parents or just other people's ideals and thoughts and beliefs that it can kind of cloud your judgment on what you really want out of life. This may sound kind of like, I don't know, like a big task to sit down and figure out what's important to you, but I think that is something that more people, and especially young people, need to do. You need to decide, what is it that makes you excited to get up in the morning? And if you can't think of anything, then you need to figure out what that could be. And I think it's so common to get in this rut of kind of just going through the motions in life and doing the same thing over and over again without any true inspiration or passion. And I think you need to search for that, because I promise you that living a life without that is so dull, and of course you're going to be unhappy. If there's nothing that makes your heart just light up and makes you so excited and, you know, feel just so ready to try and take on the day, like, it's of course like completely common that you wouldn't be excited about anything. So whether that be, you know, something creative or something really mentally stimulating, I think you need to just kind of assess what it is that's important to you. And on that same topic, I think a lot of people would say, oh, well, you know, it's important to me to be successful. And I think a lot of people take money and put that hand in hand with success. And I can definitely tell you, I know a lot of people that are from very, very wealthy families, have never had an issue in life about money, have, you know, all the money in the world that they need. Maybe possibly without having to actually have a job and without having to do anything for this money. And I can tell you that those are some of the most unhappy people in life, because money and material items may bring you joy and happiness for a bit, but they really are not passion. Like, no one has a passion about clothes or, you know, makeup or jewelry or whatever it is. Yes, you can be interested in those things, but ultimately any amount of material items are not going to fill that void in your heart. And I think a lot of people, you know, especially maybe if you happen to be in college, or maybe you're younger and you don't have a job yet, and maybe, you know, you're living off an allowance, it's really easy to get caught up in this mindset of seeing other people with expensive things and thinking, oh, you know, once I get to that point, I will be so fulfilled and happy. And I promise you that is not the case. And so for me recently, instead of material items, while I still do love shopping and I find it super interesting and fun to find new things and put pieces together, I've been spending a lot more of my time, money, and effort on opportunities and experiences. And I actually was talking to someone a little bit ago, and they were quite a bit older than me, and I was asking them, on your life, reflecting back, like, what do you wish you did? What really stands out to you as something that you kind of wish you took more advantage of? And they told me they just wish they did everything. They wish that they made more mistakes, that they, you know, did more things that they were unsure about, and that they just really did live their life to a fuller potential. And that meant, you know, not being scared and not being so cautious. And that really hit me, because I am a very cautious overthinker type of person. And it's helped me out, definitely. It's, you know, steered me clear of some bad situations before, but it also has made me feel as if I've missed out before as well. And recently I have been pushing myself to do things that I normally wouldn't do, and I have been so impressed by the outcome. I've been so fulfilled by meeting certain people that I didn't think I would get along with, or going to certain events that I just didn't really think were my type of thing, things that I didn't think I would enjoy, and then just being pleasantly surprised. And I feel like, as simple as that is, and as cheesy as it is that everyone says, you know, live life to the fullest, you know, do things that scare you, I think maybe not enough people actually pull that into their life and do it on a daily basis to realize how much that can really transform your whole mindset and how much happier that can really make you. I also wanted to touch a little bit on like going out and partying and all that kind of stuff. I definitely, when I was younger, I thought that was kind of, you know, I lived like for the weekends, I guess. So, you know, come Thursday, Friday, Saturday, those were like my big nights. You know, through the week, I would always be hoping for the weekends, just knowing that those are the nights where I was going to drink and go out with my friends. And a lot of that also, I think, rose romantically. You know, it was fun to meet and talk to guys at bars and stuff. And, you know, recently I've been very happy in my whole romantic situation. And, you know, that motivation has not been there to go meet people in bars. And I did see a quote that said something like, if you meet him in a bar, you'll lose him in a bar. And, you know, I'm not saying that if you meet someone in a bar, like, you're gonna, you know, lose them in a bar, like that's always the case. But I do think people that put a ton of emphasis on partying and drinking, I think that if you step back from that a little bit, you can kind of assess like why you're actually doing that. I've realized that I can definitely enjoy that and like it, but I can also see my friends and do other things with them as well. And I've also realized that, you know, not drinking and not doing that has put me in a different headspace, honestly. And I feel like it's kind of made my mind a little bit more clear, a little bit sharper. And so, you know, not to sound like a preachy mom or anything, but if you're someone who parties a ton and you currently are feeling like you're kind of in a rut and you're kind of just a little bit unhappy at the moment, maybe take a little bit of time off from that and see if it helps, because I do think that it really can. I definitely have noticed a difference. And the last thing that I've really been doing lately in life has been being very direct with people. Now, I am someone who, as I said before, I'm a big overthinker. I think about situations, thoughts, conversations, consequences, pretty much everything. I've thought it through before it happens, or if it ever does happen. A lot of things that I think about never do happen. But with that has come a little bit of caution with asking people things directly. You know, I always want to please people and keep people happy. I really worry about people being upset with me. So, you know, sometimes I would be a little less direct about not wanting to do something. I would say I will do something, and then when it comes around, I'm dreading it. Recently, I have not been doing that. If I really don't want to do something, I will be very upfront and direct with the person about why I don't want to, and it just saves you so much stress and drama of not committing yourself to things that you really have no interest in doing. And on that same regard, if I ever have a question for someone or something is going on that I don't like or I don't feel right about, I have been just asking the other person. Instead of thinking all these ideas in my head about what could be going on or what's possibly the scenario, I'm just upfront and I ask them. And, you know, 9 times out of 10, people react really well to that, because I think it's become very common, I think, nowadays for everyone to want to be very chill and like not kind of rock the boat, not cause any issues, and kind of withhold their feelings about certain things. So on the one hand, I think people really do appreciate a genuine, honest, direct question if you have an issue or you're upset about something. And on the other hand, you're going to get an answer from the person, most likely. And a lot of the times what I've found is the answer or the solution or the reality of a situation that I was kind of making into this bigger deal in my head ends up being something very small and something very insignificant, and something that if I didn't ask about it, I would be worrying about it. And so those are some things that I've been doing recently in life that really have made my life a lot happier. And I hope that maybe you guys can take these pieces of advice and maybe work them into your life if you happen to be having a hard time, because I totally understand that and I've been there. And I just wanted you guys to know that you have the power to make your life whatever you want it to be, but make sure that you are taking the steps and the chances to do that. Make sure that you are not taking it for granted any day, and that you really are trying to just live it to the best of your potential, because I know that you can. And I just realized how happy I am now, and I look back on, you know, some times in my life when I wasn't, and I really wish that I had someone kind of tell me that it's okay to feel like that, and it's okay to feel like, you know, things aren't quite right, or things, maybe you're in a rut, but it's not okay to stay like that. You have to keep moving forward, and you have to actively try to make things better, and I promise you they will get better. So that's it for today's video. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you all are doing really well, and I'll see y'all next time. Bye.